How did one packet become 3? Life is funny. I'm Chinese. Born in Singapore. Studied in Singapore. Served national service. Worked in Singapore. And I couldn't read Chinese. Couldn't write Chinese. And barely spoke any Mandarin. My spoken vocabulary consisted of approximately 12 useful phrases. Ni hao. Hello. Sha xia. Thank you. Bu hao I say. Excuse me. And the most important one. Ya fan da bo. Duck rice. Take away. That was my entire survival strategy. My grandmother had long given up. Every Chinese New Year she'd sigh dramatically. My grandson looks Chinese. But subtitles are required. My parents tried everything. Chinese enrichment. Tuition. Flashcards. Chinese cartoons. Chinese songs. Nothing worked. Meanwhile, my English essays always scored distinctions. Dad finally shrugged. At least he can order food. Little did he know. Even that wasn't entirely true. One Friday after work I visited my favorite duck rice stall. The uncle smiled. Same. I nodded confidently. Today, I decided to order in Mandarin. I'd been practicing. I proudly announced, Ya fan. Zan bao. Then, the uncle looked impressed. No problem. He packed quickly. I paid $12. I blinked. 12? Usually it was 4. Before I could ask, he handed me 3 packets. I looked at the bags. Looked at him. Looked back at the bags. I smiled politely. Walked away. Completely confused. Somewhere between my mouth and his ears. 1 packet had become 3. To this day, I still don't know what I actually said. Well, I do. I said Ya fan zan bao. Not Ya fan da bao. The da came out as zan for some reason. Sigh. As I stood outside the hawker center staring at my unexpected family-sized dinner, someone beside me burst into laughter. Not a rude laugh. A genuine. I've never seen this before. Kind of laugh. I turned. A young woman covered her mouth. I'm sorry. I really shouldn't laugh. But, she pointed at my 3 duck rice packets. You only wanted 1, didn't you? I sighed. Is it that obvious? She nodded. You accidentally ordered 3. I did? You said 3 packets to take away. I stared. I definitely didn't mean that. She smiled. I know. I'm Celeste. Isaac. Celeste looked at my food. So, what are you going to do with 3 dinners? I was considering becoming very, very full. She laughed. Or, you could share 1. I smiled. That's probably healthier. So, our first unofficial date happened because I accidentally bought enough duck rice for a small family. Halfway through dinner, I admitted something. I'm actually terrible at Mandarin. Celeste looked surprised. But you're Singaporean. I know. And Chinese. I know. You really can't speak? I can pretty much just order food or give directions to the Grab driver. She pointed at the 3 packets. Apparently. Not even that. We both laughed. Celeste discovered my life was full of language disasters. Once I accidentally told an auntie, I am delicious. Instead of, the food is delicious. Another time, I thanked someone's grandfather by calling him potato. I still have no idea how. Celeste laughed until tears rolled down her cheeks. You really said that? I did. He looked surprisingly understanding. Celeste had grown up speaking Mandarin at home. English at school. Singlish everywhere else. She smiled. I'll teach you. I should warn you. I'm an extremely slow learner. I've noticed. Every Saturday became language lessons. Sometimes in cafes. Sometimes over kopi. Sometimes while eating hawker food. Lesson 1. Never accidentally order for 3 people. Months later, I proudly ordered chicken rice. In Mandarin. Perfectly. Celeste applauded dramatically. You did it. I only practiced 20 times. The hawker uncle smiled. Very good. I nearly cried. It was the nicest compliment I'd received all week. Eventually, Celeste introduced me to her grandmother. I became nervous. What if she only speaks Mandarin? Celeste smiled. She does. I'm doomed. Grandma welcomed me warmly. She asked something. I looked at Celeste. Help! Celeste translated. She wants to know if you've eaten. I smiled confidently. Chi Lu. Grandma beamed. Then spoke for nearly 2 minutes. I looked at Celeste again. Help! Again. She laughed. You'll get there. One afternoon Grandma quietly told Celeste in Mandarin. He speaks with his heart. That language is enough. Celeste translated later. I became unusually quiet. She really said that? Celeste nodded. You don't need perfect Mandarin. You only need sincerity. Few months later, we returned to the same hawker stall. The uncle smiled immediately. Oh, need 3 packets, boy? Celeste burst into laughter. I have a reputation. The uncle nodded proudly. Today? I looked at Celeste. She smiled encouragingly. I took a deep breath. Ya fun. Ifun. Da bo. Sha xia. The uncle smiled. 1 packet. Perfect. Celeste clapped. You've graduated. The uncle handed me. Exactly 1 packet. I held it like an Olympic trophy. We did it. Celeste laughed. No. You did it. Months later, friends often asked Celeste. You could have dated someone fluent in Mandarin. She always smiled. I could have. So why Isaac? She laughed softly. Because language isn't only about words. It's about kindness. It's about effort. It's about making someone feel understood. And somehow, the man who accidentally ordered 3 packets of duck rice understood my heart better than many people who spoke perfect Mandarin. One evening Isaac looked at Celeste. You know, I still make mistakes. She smiled. I know. I probably always will. I know. What if I never become fluent? Celeste reached across the table and held his hand. That's okay. Because every time you try, you tell me something much more important than perfect pronunciation. What? That I'm worth learning for. Isaac smiled. So, can I order dinner tonight? Celeste grinned mischievously. Of course. But, if we somehow come home with 6 packets, I'm making you finish them. They both laughed. As they walked toward the hawker stall, Ethan whispered one final prayer. Please. Just 1 packet. From behind the counter, the duck rice uncle recognized him immediately and called out with a huge grin. 3 packets again? The entire queue laughed. Isaac buried his face in his hands. Celeste laughed so hard she had to lean on his shoulder. Life was already confusing. But somehow, it had become wonderfully confusing. And thanks to one very embarrassing duck rice order, he had found the love of his life. The end. I hope you love what we brought you. This story was created by Pearl. Please remember to subscribe and like so that we can continue to create more stories.